Hey all, thank you for checking this reading out. It is a new moon reading for Sagittarius. I thank you also for likes and subscribes. I really do appreciate that. And if you haven't, and if you do, welcome Lunarticks. This reading may be for a Sagittarian sun, moon, ascendant, Venus, Mars, or Sagittarius could be any placement of yours, or you may just be drawn to the energy because you want to call that energy into your life, or maybe you're cross-watching because you are interested in another Sagittarius. But let's go ahead and dig in and see what the new moon has to offer you. It is a new moon in Sag, so let's see what you have coming your way. We're going to look at the energies leading up to the new moon for you. And then we're going to look at the height of the new moon, and then a follow-up for the days after the new moon. And I'll get clarifications on all of those and then pull you an advice card. So we're starting with the Six of Swords. That's the energy that you've had, I would say, for the last couple of days that you're bringing into the new moon, really. At the height of the new moon, we have the Seven of Cups. And now one for the days following the new moon, the energy there afterwards as we're exiting that new moon in Sagittarius. The Nine of Wands. So it looks like currently you are headed toward a calmer mental and emotional state, Sagittarius. As you can see in this depiction, it is through this character's expansion of their own mind that they are able to take themselves away from what we see down here as hectic, chaotic energies, and again, as I said, toward a calmer mental and emotional state. Normally with the Six of Swords, we hear headed toward calmer waters. Let me turn this music down one notch for us. So there may have been some chaos. There may have been something hectic that was that you feel you do need to move away from at this time. With the Six of Swords, and particularly in this small spread we have going here, I have the feeling, though, that we're mostly talking about, again, in your mind, your mental state. And I don't know why I'm still shuffling, but we've ended up with the Three of Wands on the bottom of the deck, Sag. Now, with the Seven of Cups at the height of the new moon, this can be about, well, this evening, even tomorrow. So the evening of the 6th, or on the 7th. And this can be about fantasy, altered states of consciousness, and options. It can certainly be about options. It may be that a lot of you at the height of the new moon feel like you have many options, but it certainly can be also be fantasy, high hopes, and it often asks me the question, do you have to decide right now? So there may be something on your mind, Sagittarius, that you feel like you have to make a decision about. I do see that you're anxious, a little anxious about how a passion project, something that you're very invested in and passionate about, is going to turn out. And then exiting the new moon, the energy thereafter is, as I said, the Nine of Wands. Almost looks like you're still waiting on something. Like someone is still waiting on something. Some sense of security, maybe actually resources like money, physical, material resources to come in. Like there's just something that you're sitting there waiting for. The Knight of Wands is a reminder that if we anticipate the worst, right, then we will attract it to us. It's a, you know, it gives us the advice to prepare for the worst, but hope for the best, right? Let me get a clarifier on the Six of Swords. Okay, so I think someone around you has been manipulative lately. Someone hasn't been completely honest, completely forthright. Someone's let you down in some way. Someone may have been suspicious of you or someone else, and so then they started acting, you know, in a suspicious way themselves. Harsh, rigid, a cruel judge. These are all things that the King of Swords denotes. Someone who's plotting. And I don't feel like it was you, Sag. I don't get that impression from the reading. I really don't. I think that that is the energy you were dealing with. Someone dishonest or any and all of those negative qualities we just listed about the King of Swords reversed. Someone like that in your midst, in your environment that you just you couldn't deal with anymore. So, you know, some of you may actually be moving away from this person, but you're certainly moving away from a space where you're willing to engage in fights with them, right? Or even just to play their games. The King of Swords can just be someone who plays a lot of mind games, a lot of mental games. Again, I think I said can be very manipulative. And yeah, definitely. Sagittarians right now are just refusing to engage. You're not going to play their games. You're not going to have it. You're not going to guess what's true or not. Maybe for those of you who are dealing with someone who's outright lying. So you're moving towards this calmer mental and emotional state where you're not participating in that, whether you're actually physically leaving the environment or not. What I'm seeing here is that some of you want to actually physically leave as well, not just distance yourself in a mental and emotional way from this energy, this manipulative, rigid, cruel, harsh energy. But you're waiting on the resources to do so. And that's what this is. That's what this is about for you. This time period, about a week, if you will. And then the Seven of Cups. How do these options are fantasy, high hopes. How does that fit in for you? We have the Eight of Cups in reverse showing up, which usually says to me someone's having trouble walking away. So there may be someone with those manipulative or harsh or cruel or rigid qualities, traits, attributes around you that you are refusing to engage with, but you're having trouble actually physically getting away from them. With altered states of consciousness showing up as a message, for some of you, you are willingly altering your state of consciousness, and it is what's making it difficult or even impossible for you to get away from this situation physically as well as mentally and emotionally. Some of you, on the other hand, are just hoping that this person stops being so rigid and harsh and cruel and manipulative or dishonest. Again, could be any or all of those qualities. And it's sort of fantastical of you at this point. I think some of you have seen enough from this person to know that that's just the behavior that you're going to get out of them, or that those are just the kinds of fights and disagreements, that the situations that the two of you are going to have together. And so it is, you know, it is a fantasy. It is a high hope to think that might change suddenly for you. Let's get a clarifier as well on the Three of Wands there. Just want one card to clarify the Three of Wands for us. And it is the Ace of Pentacles reversed, with the Lover's card on the bottom of the clarifier deck. So for a few, you may be dealing with a Gemini specifically, whether that's, you know, a romantic partner, a lover or not, or otherwise just someone in your immediate environment. For others, there is Leo energy here. Now, there's definitely air energy here with the King of Swords, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. So there's another indication that it's a Gemini, Sag. But it could be any of the air signs. That could be anywhere in their chart. It doesn't necessarily, the sign doesn't necessarily have to resonate. With the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, though, I see the message that there's this reversal of fortune. It can sometimes just be a missed opportunity. But I think this is a reversal of fortune. That's not to say, though, that this Ten of Pentacles energy, this type of security, this much money, this much security is just right around the corner. You know, I'm not necessarily seeing that. For some, maybe, sure. But I do see this reversal of fortune where, as I said, it looks like you're a little anxious about a project that you're very invested in, very passionate about, just as invested in, you know, as a mother would be to see how her creations turn out. This is something that you've been working on, working toward, and there is a reversal of fortune regarding this thing. So if it's been a long time coming, if you've been feeling that anxious feeling all month or even longer for quite a while, we see that reversal of fortune. And I think it's probably related to you. Yeah, definitely. It's related to you moving away from this energy that's either manipulating you or at the very least being cruel in some way, whether it's just dishonesty or as I said, just being a rigid, cruel judge in general, or downright plotting against you. I think that's why there's the reversal of fortune, right? You've decided, like I said, to not engage with that person, not engage in those fights, those scenarios. And so your mental space, even if you can't physically get away yet, your mental space is calmer and clearer. And I think you'll find that a lot of the anxiety that was surrounding that passion project, we'll say, of yours, that you're so invested in here but a little bit worried about, I think you'll find that you feel so much more confident about that project, about whatever you're working on that you feel passionate about, when you refuse to engage in that chaotic energy anymore. When you refuse to fuel that fire, right? When you're showing yourself that, you know, that's an example of you showing yourself unconditional love, Sag. You know that you deserve those calmer waters. You know you deserve a calmer mental and emotional state to work on not just this one other thing in your life, but anything else in your life. And again, I think many of you have seen enough from this person to know that that's where it's headed with you two, that that's what you're going to get from them. And yet you're still having trouble walking away. And it is not necessarily, it is not necessarily a lover. It is not necessarily a romantic interest at all. It could be, of course. It always can be. But this could just be like a roommate situation, a friend who is bringing a toxic energy to your life, a family member who's bringing a toxic energy to your environment. It could be anybody that you're dealing with. Likely someone, though, that you have had a lengthy entanglement with for one reason or another. A relationship of sorts. And as I said, the Seven of Cups does give me that message. Do you have to decide right now? And I think for a lot of you in this situation that resonate with the spread, the answer is actually yes, you should for some of you. Because like I said, I think it might be fantasy and high hopes to think that plotting or that rigid, cruel attitude is going to change. I think you're in a space where to not distance yourself from that energy, to not remove yourself from that environment is counterproductive. Is not serving your highest good. But for a lot of you, you don't feel like you have any choice. So I don't mean to just sort of echo what's already going through your mind at this time. A lot of you are saying, I know I need to get away physically as well as mentally and emotionally, but I don't really have any choice because I don't have the money to. For some of you, that's what you're looking at with the Ten of Pentacles clarifying the Nine of Wands. It's like that is what you're waiting on, is that sense of security or just, you know, the money. But your advice card is the same card. In this deck, the SpirtSong Tarot deck, it's called the Ten of Crystals. So 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Coins, 10 of Earth. And stability and attainment are noted here. This is your advice. It's what you're waiting on, and it's what you're advised to go ahead and give yourself, that security, that comfort. It can also speak to things like mastering a skill, finally getting that raise that you've been waiting for. It's something that, it represents something that you worked for. And so there's this message here that this is what you're waiting on, but it's what you're advised to give yourself. And then on the bottom of that, the deck I used for advice is release and recovery. So for, you know, there's also this message here that this energy needs to be released and you need to begin your recovery. So I think it's absolutely beautiful that, as I said, you are refusing to engage with this person anymore. These mental battles, these mental games aren't fun for you, and you do not have to participate. I'm going to go ahead and get a clarifier on your advice card as well. You're being advised, Sagittarius, to rebuild. And now on the bottom of the deck is the Queen of Swords reversed. So you do have a pair here. But the way I read reversals, it's a pretty unfortunate pair. This one is illogical, obsessing over the past, and we've already repeated his cruel qualities enough times. So it's sort of like, I think the reason that there's fantastical high hopes that are keeping you stuck in this environment, is because they you know, this person isn't bringing out the best in you either, right? And it's like when you see that pair, it really does give me the feeling that there's a divine partnership on the table. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a divine partnership. I mean, it's certainly something that was meant to be in your life. It's someone that feels like a soulmate, a soul match, a life partner to you, Sag. So no wonder you have high hopes about this energy changing, and no wonder you feel stuck. But ultimately, the message here is that you are waiting on something that you can give to yourself. That stability, that security, and you know what you have to do. And I think that is that you have to walk away, at least for a time, and you need to rebuild on your own. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for those of you that are having a really hard time with it, because I can feel the overwhelming confirmation that it absolutely is a divine partnership to some of you that you're dealing with. But, you know, I can't deny the message here. I have to tell you, and I'll say it one more time. You're waiting on something that you can give to yourself, and you know what needs to be done. And sometimes, you know, sometimes it is just a matter of needing to walk away from someone for a time, and it's not forever. That's not for everybody, but, you know, some are just dealing with someone who's in a bad mental space right now. So with that, since we're over 20 minutes in now, Sag, I will leave it at that. I think you all got the message. I think you see what's coming through in the cards for you. That is, you know, by no means saying that this path is determined. Obviously, you have a choice in the matter. It's completely up to you. But at the height of the new moon, I do see you having options, but feeling stuck. And maybe because you have fantastical high hopes about turning things around with this divine partner. Yeah, you're trying very hard to hold on to what you used to have with this person. But there is a storm coming if you stay stuck. The multiverse can't let you stay there, because that's not you showing any love for yourself. So you can deny this tower moment coming all you want, but eventually that tower moment will come. And you will find that you are doing what you know you can choose to do now for yourself, which is to show yourself unconditional love and give yourself that sense of security that you need and begin to rebuild. Okay, so we will leave it at that since we're 25 minutes in. I thank you very much again for checking out the reading, for your likes and subscribes and shares and comments. And I love to hear how it resonated. If it did, if you feel like sharing, I always would like to hear if you feel like sharing. And a special thank you to those of you who do donate and purchase readings from me. LunarticksTarot@gmail.com if you'd like to reach out to me directly, or you can just check below for my private reading options. And otherwise, I love you, Sag. Take good care, make wise choices moving forward, and I will post another tarot fix for you very soon.